Little Fox.
The Wind in the Willows. Episode 51. A New Friend. The next morning, Toad was hungry. He remembered the smell of the food.
Things aren't all that bad,
he said.
Crying without food won't help me.
Toad stood and stretched his back.
And I am very clever. I am bold and fearless. Trouble is just an adventure,
he said. The jailer's daughter knocked again.
I have some tea and toast,
she said.
Come in,
Toad said cheerfully. She put the tray in front of him.
I'm so hungry,
cried Toad. He grabbed the toast and ate.
I'm glad you're well,
she said.
Why don't you tell me about your home?
Well, Toad Hall is famous,
Toad began. He sat back and drank his tea. Toad enjoyed telling her all about himself.
Are your friends nice?
She asked.
They are the best in the world,
said Toad. He told her about Badger, Rat, and Mole. He talked to her about all the riverbankers. The jailer's daughter visited every morning. She enjoyed Toad's friendship.
What a shame,
she thought.
It's not fair to lock him up.
One morning, she came to his room as usual.
Hello,
cried Toad cheerfully.
Toad,
she said with a serious look.
Do you want to get out of here?
The Wind in the Willows. Episode 52. A Plan for Escape.
do you mean I can go home?
Shouted Toad.
Oh, I will sleep at Toad Hall again.
Toad jumped up and down. Shh, the jailer's daughter said. She looked around.
I have an aunt who is a washwoman. My aunt does the prison wash,
she said.
What a hard job,
said Toad.
And for the whole prison too? Think of all the dirty clothes.
Quiet, Toad,
the daughter said.
Listen.
She continued.
Since you are rich,
Well, I am rich,
said Toad.
if you give her some money,
She said.
my aunt will give you her dress and bonnet.
Why would I want her old dress?
Said Toad.
To escape,
She said.
you can pretend to be her.
Toad was surprised.
Me? Dressed like a washwoman? I am Toad of Toad Hall,
Said Toad. He proudly shook his head. The jailer's daughter got angry.
Maybe you can escape in a coach.
She shouted.
A coach with 4 horses.
She opened the door to leave.
I'm sorry.
Toad said.
You are so nice. And I am a stupid toad.
The jailer's daughter stopped.
Introduce me to your aunt,
Said Toad. The Wind in the Willows. Episode 53. Toad and the Washwoman. That night, the jailer's daughter returned. Her aunt was with her. The aunt carried a big bag.
Here, Mr. Toad,
Said the washwoman.
I have your clothes.
and here is something for you.
Said Toad. He gave her 4 gold coins. The old woman opened the bag.
Here's my old dress and an apron.
She said. She gave Toad a shawl and a bonnet, too.
Now, you must tie me up,
said the washwoman.
What?
Asked Toad, surprised. The washwoman explained.
People will think you did it,
She said.
I don't want them to know I helped you.
What a wonderful idea!
Said Toad.
You are a very clever woman. Everyone will think I'm dangerous.
Toad tied up the washwoman.
Now,
Said the jailer's daughter.
it's your turn, Toad. Take off your coat.
She helped Toad put on the dress and apron.
Here's the shawl
She said.
and the bonnet.
Toad looked at himself.
I don't look so dangerous now.
He said sadly.
You look just like my aunt.
The daughter said.
Will it work?
Toad asked.
Just act like an old washwoman. And don't talk so much.
Said the jailer's daughter.
Goodbye, Toad.
She said.
And good luck.
The Wind in the Willows. Episode 54. Freedom. Toad walked through the dungeon. His heart beat wildly.
Oh, this is crazy.
He thought.
Someone will know it's me.
Toad stepped out into a yard. Across the yard was a gate.
No one is stopping me.
Thought Toad.
Washwoman, you're late today.
Said the guard.
Here, I'll unlock the door for you.
It's working.
Thought Toad.
I fooled him.
Another guard stood at the next gate.
Give me a hug.
Said the guard.
You work so hard. This prison is lucky to have you.
Toad was giggling under his bonnet. He hugged the guard. The last gate shut behind him. He was free. People waved as Toad walked through town.
Hello, washwoman.
A squirrel called.
Hello to you.
Said Toad in a high voice. A train whistle blew.
A train.
Cried Toad.
I'll buy a ticket home.
Toad ran to the station. He hurried to the ticket window.
One ticket to...
Toad said, out of breath. Toad reached under his dress. He had no pockets. He had no money. The Wind in the Willows. Episode 55. No money and no ticket.
Madam, hurry up and pay.
Said the ticket seller.
Customers are waiting.
Toad turned around. A long line waited behind him.
Hurry up!
Said a possum.
Hey, we're waiting!
Yelled a turkey.
I'm sure I have some money.
Said Toad. Toad searched through his clothes again. His shawl fell off and he tore his dress.
My money is in my coat.
Thought Toad.
I left it in the jail.
Toad smiled at the ticket seller.
Just give me a ticket. I'll send you the money. I'm rich and famous.
Everyone behind him laughed.
This washwoman is rich.
Said the possum.
And famous, too!
Said the turkey.
Stand aside, lady.
Said the ticket seller. A raccoon poked Toad from behind.
My good woman,
He said.
make room.
Toad ran from the ticket window. He sat on a bench and cried.
I almost got a ticket for home!
He said.
Soon the police will know I escaped. They will hunt me down. I'll go back to jail.
Just then, a voice called out to him. It was the train engineer.
Hello, lady.
He said.
What's wrong?
The Wind in the Willows. Episode 56. On the Train. Toad looked up from the bench.
Are you all right?
Said the train engineer.
You don't look very happy.
Oh, sir,
Said Toad, crying.
I am a poor washwoman. I lost all my money.
Oh, that's awful.
Said the engineer.
I can't pay for a ticket.
Cried Toad.
I must get home.
Do you have kids?
Asked the engineer.
Why, yes.
Said Toad.
I have lots of kids. They will be crying and hungry.
Well, I'll help you.
Said the engineer.
You can wash my shirts to repay me.
I will as soon as I get home.
Said Toad.
Hop up.
Said the engineer.
You can ride on the engine with me.
Toad thanked him and climbed up. Toad didn't know how to wash a shirt. He wasn't going to learn either.
Oh, I'll send him money.
Toad thought.
I'll send enough to wash his shirts for a year.
A flagman at the station waved a flag. The engineer blew his whistle. The train sped away. Toad danced with delight.
Soon I'll be at Toad Hall.
Toad thought. The engineer leaned out the side.
I hear another train behind us.
He shouted.
It's chasing us, and it's coming fast.
The Wind in the Willows. Episode 57. Chasing Toad. Toad leaned out of the train. He looked down the tracks. A train was speeding after them.
Stop! Stop!
Yelled the riders on the train.
They look like policemen.
Said the engineer. The police waved their clubs angrily. Toad fell on his knees.
Save me!
He cried.
Save me!
What?
Asked the engineer.
I am not a washwoman.
Cried Toad.
I do not have children. I am Mr. Toad.
The engineer was angry.
Why are they chasing you?
He asked. Embarrassed, Toad looked at him.
I escaped from jail.
Said Toad.
Why were you in prison?
Said the engineer.
It wasn't serious.
Said Toad.
I just borrowed a car. But everyone got so upset about it.
I should let them arrest you.
Said the engineer.
But I don't like policemen. And I hate to see someone cry.
The engineer added coal to the fire.
That will speed us up.
He said. But the other engines sped up too.
What am I going to do?
Cried Toad.
You will have to jump.
Said the engineer.
What?
Asked Toad, afraid. The engineer slowed the train.
Here's your chance.
He shouted.
Jump!
Toad closed his eyes and jumped.